Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into the world of AI? Today we're tackling DeepSeek, this Chinese AI company that's got Silicon Valley buzzing, even a little panicked, some might say.
Yeah, they've really made a splash.
So we've got a whole stack of stuff to look at today, news articles, blog posts, even some spicy takes from Reddit.
Oh, yeah, gotta love Reddit.
Exactly. Our mission today is to figure out how DeepSeek is changing the game of AI and what that means for all of us.
And what's really fascinating is how quickly they've become major players. Seems like they came out of nowhere.
Right. It's like they found some secret shortcut to AI success and everyone else is playing catch up. So first things first, who is DeepSeek?
Well, they were founded pretty recently, May 2023, by Liang Wenfeng.
Okay.
And this guy's a bit of a legend, a major player in both hedge funds and AI.
So a double threat.
You could say that.
But what makes DeepSeek's origin story so different? I mean, new AI companies pop up all the time.
It's all about the funding. DeepSeek is entirely backed by Wenfeng's own hedge fund, Highflyer.
So no VCs, no outside investors.
Nope. No outside pressures, no quarterly reports, just pure AI ambition fueling their every move.
Wow. Talk about freedom. That's got to give them a serious edge in terms of taking risks.
Absolutely. And their team is a reflection of that. They've got all these brilliant young grads straight out of China's top universities. DeepSeek prioritizes raw talent over years of experience.
It's like they're turning the whole Silicon Valley playbook on its head.
Exactly. And it seems to be working. I mean, just look at their track record. They've been releasing a whole string of increasingly powerful AI models, one after the other.
Okay, let's hear it. What have they put out so far?
Well, their first big release was DeepSeek Coder back in November 2023, an open source model specifically designed for coding. Then, hot on its heels, came DeepSeek LLM, a 67 billion parameter model meant to compete with those big language models everyone was talking about.
So they came out swinging, aiming straight for the heavy hitters in the field.
Oh yeah, they weren't messing around. And then in May 2024, they dropped DeepSeek V2, and that's when things really started to heat up. The performance was incredible, but the real shocker was the price. They basically ignited a price war in the Chinese AI market.
Wow, taking on giants like ByteDance and Alibaba right off the bat, that's a bold move.
And they didn't stop there. Then came DeepSeek Coder V2, this 236 billion parameter beast built for complex coding. And get this, it's still available through their API at an insanely low price.
So they're not just pushing the boundaries of AI, they're making it accessible. I'm starting to see why Silicon Valley is getting nervous. But which models are the ones that really made everyone take notice? The ones that have everyone talking?
It's got to be their latest models, DeepSeek V3 and DeepSeek R1.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, DeepSeek V3 is massive, 671 billion parameters, but the crazy thing is how efficient it is. It needs way fewer resources than comparable models.
So they're getting similar, or maybe even better, results with less compute power.
Exactly. And then there's DeepSeek R1, which they literally just launched this month. This one's focused on reasoning tasks, like going head-to-head with OpenAI's O1 model.
Okay, now this is getting interesting.
And early reports suggest it's not just competitive, it might actually be surpassing it in some areas.
Wow, this is what has everyone so excited, right? A Chinese company taking the lead in AI, a field the U.S. has dominated for so long.
You got it. And here's the kicker. DeepSeek has done all this while being mostly research-focused. They haven't gone all in on commercial applications just yet.
Huh, so they're not just disrupting the technology, they're shaking up the whole business model, too. We've definitely established that DeepSeek is doing some truly mind-blowing stuff. But why should we care? Why is this a big deal?
Well, for one, their performance-to-cost ratio is off the charts. DeepSeek V3, for instance, was reportedly trained for a measly $5.5 million.
Wait, 5.5 million, that's pocket change compared to what OpenAI spent on GPT-4, right? Wasn't it something like 100 million?
You got it.
How are they pulling this off?
That's the million, or should I say $5.5 million question. DeepSeek's secret sauce seems to be this potent mix of innovative techniques and just a laser focus on efficiency.
Okay, I'm hooked. Break it down for me. What are some of these innovative techniques they're using?
Well, they've got several cutting-edge approaches, but the ones that really stand out are reinforcement learning, their unique mixture of experts architecture, multi-head latent attention, and then their very clever use of model distillation.
Okay, those are some fancy terms, but I need more than just names. Let's start with reinforcement learning. What is it? And how is DeepSeek using it to their advantage?
So reinforcement learning, or RL, is basically where the AI model learns through trial and error. It gets feedback, and it constantly improves based on that feedback.
So instead of just force-feeding the model tons of data. They're giving it a goal and letting it figure out the best way to get there.
Exactly. And this approach has been especially crucial for DeepSeek R1's amazing reasoning abilities. By learning through interaction and feedback, their models are developing a deeper understanding of tasks and finding creative solutions.
I can see how that would be a game changer. It's not just about brute force computation anymore. It's about teaching the models to think for themselves.
That's the key. And DeepSeek is proving this approach can lead to some major breakthroughs. But RL is just one piece of the puzzle. Their mixture of experts architecture, or MOE, is another big innovation.
Okay, let's hear about MOE. What makes it so special?
So imagine this. Instead of using all of the model's parameters for every single task, MOE activates only the specific experts needed for that particular problem.
So it's like having a whole team of specialized experts ready to tackle any challenge.
Precisely. You wouldn't ask a cardiologist to perform brain surgery, right?
Makes sense.
MOE applies that same principle to AI, maximizing efficiency and minimizing waste. It's a big reason DeepSeek can achieve such crazy good performance with relatively limited resources.
Okay, so they've got reinforcement learning for smarter models and MOE for making the most of their resources. Now, what about this multi-head latent attention? I'm picturing like an AI with a bunch of heads, each one focused on a different thing.
It's not quite that literal. But multi-head latent attention, or MLA, lets the model focus on different parts of the input at the same time. It's kind of like when you read a book. You're paying attention to the plot, the characters, the writing style, all at once.
So it's like giving the model the ability to multitask, process information from all angles.
Exactly. This boosts the model's understanding of complex data, which is crucial for things like translation, summarization, and of course those impressive reasoning skills we see in DeepSeek R1.
Okay, last piece of the secret sauce. Model distillation. What's the trick here?
So model distillation is all about taking the knowledge from those big, complex models and transferring it to smaller, more efficient ones. Imagine a master teaching their apprentice all their skills.
So it's like creating a condensed version of the model, keeping all the essential knowledge but in a more streamlined package.
You got it. This allows DeepSeek to give even users with limited computing power access to these super powerful AI capabilities. Think about it. Someone with just a regular laptop can work with cutting-edge AI. That's a game changer for accessibility.
That's huge. It's not just about building powerful AI anymore. It's about making sure everyone can use it. We've covered a lot, but there's one thing I'm really curious about. How does DeepSeek's unique funding, being completely independent, how is that shaping their strategy, and what does it mean for their future?
That's a great question. This freedom from traditional investors gives them flexibility that's almost unheard of in AI. It's probably a big reason they're willing to shake things up, both with the tech and the business side of things.
So we've got a lot to unpack there. We'll dig into that next and explore what DeepSeek's rise could mean for the future of AI. Stay with us.
It's pretty wild when you think about DeepSeek's funding situation.
Yeah, totally.
Being backed by a quantitative hedge fund means they don't have to worry about those typical investor pressures, quarterly reports and all that.
It's like they have this amazing luxury of thinking long-term. They don't have to chase quick profits like so many other AI companies.
Exactly. They can really focus on research and development without constantly having to prove they're making money right this second.
It's such a contrast to what we see here in the U.S. a lot,
Right.
where the pressure to show immediate results can stifle innovation.
Right. And I think that difference in approach is really reflected in what they're producing. They seem genuinely driven by a desire to advance AI for its own sake, not just to follow market trends or whatever's hot at the moment.
It's kind of refreshing, actually. It's like they have this academic freedom, pursuing knowledge just for the sake of knowledge.
Yeah, I agree.
But it does make you wonder, how will this unusual funding model play out in the long run? Will they always be able to resist the pressure to cash in on their success?
It's a good question. I mean, as their tech gets more advanced and more people start using it, I'm sure they'll face some pressure to, start making some serious money.
Right. So maybe they'll start licensing their models, partnering with other companies, or even develop their own commercial applications.
Yeah, all of that is possible.
But on the other hand, they could just stick to being a research-focused powerhouse, like this open-source AI hub, driving innovation from outside the traditional corporate structures.
That would definitely turn some heads.
Imagine a world where the most advanced AI isn't locked away in some tech giant's vault, but is freely available for anyone to use and tinker with.
Yeah, it'd be like the Wild West of AI.
It could totally revolutionize the speed and direction of AI development.
For sure.
And that brings us back to what makes DeepSeek so fascinating. Their dedication to open source, their relentless pursuit of efficiency, this unconventional funding model, it all adds up to something truly unique.
I think you're right. They're changing the way we think about AI.
Okay, so we've talked about their innovative tech, their funding, and how they're kind of a thorn in the side of the established AI world.
Yeah.
But let's zoom out a bit. How is DeepSeek's rise changing the global AI landscape, and what does it mean for the future of the field as a whole?
Well, I think one of the biggest impacts is the potential shift in power. For a long time, the U.S. has been the dominant force in AI, right? But DeepSeek's success shows that other players, especially China, are catching up fast.
And maybe even surpassing the U.S. in some areas.
Exactly. It's a wake-up call for Silicon Valley. They can't just assume they'll always be on top.
Complacency can be deadly in a field as fast-moving as AI.
You said it. DeepSeek's rapid growth is forcing everyone to step up their game, to be more innovative, more efficient, and to, think outside the box. They're basically pushing the whole field forward.
And with their commitment to open source, it's not just a select few who benefit from this progress. It's like they're democratizing access to advanced AI, giving so many more people the chance to be a part of this technological revolution.
Yeah, open source models are becoming increasingly important in the AI world.
Absolutely. They're all about collaboration, sharing knowledge, and making sure AI benefits everyone, not just the big corporations.
Right. It's not just about who has the most money anymore.
And DeepSeek is leading the charge. But there's another important aspect to consider. What does their success mean for the future of AI development in terms of resources and efficiency? We've already talked about how they're building these incredibly powerful models on a shoestring budget. But what are the bigger implications here?
Well, I think their achievements highlight this growing trend in AI, a shift away from just raw computational power and towards algorithmic efficiency and making the most of the resources you have.
So it's not just about building bigger and more complex models. It's about building smarter and more sustainable ones.
That's it. And that's where DeepSeek's innovations, like their mixture of experts, architecture, and their clever use of distillation, really come into play. They're showing that you don't need massive data sets and supercomputers to achieve amazing results.
And this also has huge implications for the environmental impact of AI, something that's becoming a bigger and bigger concern.
Absolutely. If we can develop more efficient models, we can lower the energy consumption and reduce the carbon footprint associated with AI development.
Which is critical if we want AI to be a truly sustainable technology for the future.
Exactly. DeepSeek's approach, with its emphasis on efficiency, could really be a game changer in terms of creating a more sustainable path for AI development.
It's like they're showing us a way to harness the power of AI without putting a massive strain on our planet's resources. This is definitely an exciting time to be following the world of AI. There's so much happening, and DeepSeek is right at the forefront. But before we wrap up, there's one question that keeps coming back to me. What's next for DeepSeek? I mean, they've accomplished so much already, it's hard to imagine what they could possibly do next.
It's almost like their potential is limitless.
Right.
They could keep pushing the boundaries of AI capabilities, explore totally new architectures, and take on even more complex challenges.
Or they could use their existing models to create groundbreaking applications in all sorts of fields. I mean, think about healthcare, education, finance, even entertainment.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Or maybe, just maybe, they'll surprise us with something we never saw coming, something that changes the way we think about AI altogether.
They've already shown they're not afraid to break the mold.
Whatever they do next, it's going to be worth watching.
I agree. Their story is a testament to what can happen when you combine ambition, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of, pushing the limits of what's possible.
Their journey is just beginning.
Yeah, who knows what they'll achieve.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's always more to explore in the world of AI.
Right. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
We'll be back soon to dive into some more fascinating stories that are shaping the future of AI. But until then, stay curious and keep exploring. We've talked about their tech, their funding, how they're shaking things up.
Yeah.
But there's this one question that keeps coming back to me. How does being completely independent, like free from those traditional investor demands, how does that influence the kind of problems DeepSeek chooses to solve?
That's a really interesting question. I think it gets at what makes them so different, Without the pressure of needing to turn a profit immediately, They can explore research and development in areas that might not be commercially viable for years, maybe even decades.
So they're not just chasing the latest trends or trying to build the next big app. It's like they have the freedom to think bigger.
Yeah, to focus on those fundamental advancements that could, like, completely change entire industry.
Or even society as a whole.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
could decide to put all their resources into solving some of the world's biggest problems.
Like climate change.
Yeah, climate change, disease prediction, maybe even developing new sustainable energy solutions, areas where AI has the potential to make a real difference.
But those areas don't always have the biggest financial incentives, at least not right away.
That's right.
It's like they're free to pursue AI for the greater good, to work on projects that might not be profitable today, but could have a lasting impact on humanity.
It's a pretty inspiring thought. It really sets them apart. They're not just building a company, they're building like a vision for the future.
A future where AI is used to make the world a better place.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, could their approach, this emphasis on research and collaboration, could that become a model for other AI companies?
Maybe. I mean, their success could encourage other researchers, entrepreneurs, even investors to adopt a similar philosophy.
It would be amazing to see more AI development driven by a desire to make a real difference, rather than just focusing on profits.
It'd be a real shift in the industry.
But of course, DeepSeek's journey is far from over. They're still a young company, and AI is changing so rapidly, there will be challenges, there will be obstacles.
Absolutely. The future is never certain, but one thing's for sure. DeepSeek has brought a much-needed fresh perspective to the world of AI.
They've shown us what's possible when you combine cutting-edge tech with a genuine desire to push the boundaries.
And they've highlighted the importance of having a global perspective. Innovation can come from anywhere.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the incredible world of DeepSeek, here's one final thought to leave you with. What if their approach, this focus on efficiency, collaboration, and using AI for good, what if that becomes the dominant model for future AI development? What kind of world could we create if that happened? It's a question worth thinking about.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into DeepSeek. We'll be back soon with more explorations into the fascinating world of AI. Until then, stay curious.